I'm going to begin by screen sharing something from Tolkien. This is from the Silmarillion. If you look at the bottom, I got to get rid of this little thing. Um, Iluvatar is God the Father. Melkor is the Satan figure in Tolkien's mythology. Then Iluvatar spoke, and he said, "Mighty are the Ainur, and mightiest among them is Melkor. But that he may know, and all the Ainur, that I am Iluvatar. Those things that ye have sung, I will show them forth, that ye may see what ye have done. And thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played that hath not its uttermost source in me, nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that attempteth this shall prove but mine instrument in the devising of things more wonderful, which he himself hath not imagined. Not only can we not compose and play a music that runs contrary to the great symphony, whatever theme we come up with will be incorporated into greater musical themes. In other words, our unreality can never stand. Today we see in the secular world the most obvious example of unreality, which is men claiming to be women and women claiming to be men, denying the very basics of the XY-XX chromosome pair and everything that that boundary and border shows forth. But we see this among devout Christians all the time. We think that somehow our faith takes us out of the way reality is shaped, that we won't feel certain things, that our bodies can be denied by us, that we exist in this kind of bizarre intellectual plane or spiritual plane or sentimental plane where we're removed from the way life really operates. We see this a little bit in today's readings. Here in Proverbs, the wealth of the rich is their fortified city. They imagine it a wall too high to scale. That reminds me of the parable Jesus told about the rich man who was so proud that he had built up this enormous wealth. And then he said, well, now finally I'm secure. And God says, you fool, tonight you're going to die. What will your wealth do for you now? And St. Paul here at the end of 2 Corinthians, for we cannot do anything against the truth, but only for the truth. In context, he's sort of saying we should not live the lie, but literally, we cannot do anything against the truth, but only for the truth. Even if you rebel, even if you say, I will not serve, even if you try to construct a great unreality with the best of intentions or the worst, we cannot alter the shape of being. We cannot alter the music that's being played. We can try to be disharmonious and try to come up with our own themes, but they will somehow be incorporated into an overall symphonic score that we cannot even imagine. Reality exists, and our salvation comes by really understanding the source of all reality, that which is most real, God himself. And our journey through this is by the way of the cross, because that's the shape of reality. That cruciform shape is something that we can never get out of. Even if we think we can somehow live forever on earth through science or technology, or if by praying constant devotions and novenas, we can somehow avoid the real turmoil in our lives. No matter what we do, we can't avoid that shape. And we can say with St. Paul, for we cannot do anything against the truth, but only for the truth. And even if we sin greatly, our very sin shows up as a witness for the truth. Also in 1 Samuel, you have Saul visiting the witch of Endor. As interesting as that all is, I mean, here he is trying to control reality through sorcery. He's finally sunk that low. But the interesting thing to me, at the very end, he is so overwhelmed by what he's learned from the spirit of Samuel that he falls on the ground and he refuses to eat anything. We see this later when David is repentant about the whole thing with Bathsheba. But Saul doesn't stick to his guns even there. He refuses to eat anything, but his followers fairly easily convince him to get up and have some food. Saul can't even stick to a kind of a mini vow made in a moment of great emotional and spiritual upheaval. And we see where he ends. And we see that when you live like that, Saul lives as a witness to God in his rebellion against God, because we see what eventually happens to him and what he's like even at the very end, especially at the very end.